Now, with a Storm 5 alert, this is News Channel 5 this morning.
7 a.m. now on this Sunday morning. This is a live look from our SkyNet camera in Hopkinsville. Yesterday, we watched as this area filled with snow. Today, the threat and the worry is ice. Our crews are out monitoring road conditions for you this morning. Tony Sloan is in Storm 5 Titan, and Eric Pointer is out in Live Drive. We are glad you are with us, choosing News Channel 5 as your go-to station for your winter weather coverage. I'm Jennifer Kraus, joined here in the studio by, again, our Storm 5 team. They were all here yesterday. They are all back again to keep an eye on the conditions for you and let you know the very latest. We are joined this morning by Henry, Leland, and Nikki D. And, of course, the concern is just growing this morning.
It really is. I mean, we continue to get so many power outages. The roads are so slick. And then you've got rain, I-40, dealing with ponding in the way of cold rain, too.
Yeah, you got to remember all that snow from yesterday. As the rain falls, sure, it may melt it initially, but then it's quickly freezing as a sheet of ice. And some of the pictures you have shown look like ice skating rinks, or that somebody just sprayed foam over trees and yards.
They really do. And then, Leland, whatever melts refreezes.
Refreezes, and we'll see those temperatures drop into the single digits tonight. So we've got some more problems out there that we'll deal with. NES right now, 110,000 customers without electricity.
Goodness, that is a lot of people. And, of course, electricity, but also trees. If you look at this video coming in for us, you actually can see.
Falling?
Yes, falling. They called it falling on the left-hand side. And this one, there's no falling tree. I don't believe in that particular shot. There's two videos that they sent in. Big thank you to y'all, but being able to catch that tree just falling is quite something to see. And there it goes.
Yeah, there it goes.
And that's not a baby tree.
No.
I mean, that's a big tree that took down, and we're seeing that everywhere out there. And, of course, that's aiding to travel concerns as well as power outages because some trees are falling on the power. So there it goes. Look at that. Goodness gracious. Please be careful. Stay away from those trees as much as possible and stay inside. I mean, it is just brutally cold. This is a look for you right now over in Portland. You can see those trees standing tall, but you can tell they are drooping quite a bit. This is thanks to Laura. You'll notice even seeing some of that accumulating on parts of our vegetation, and that is the key. Everything, if it's outside, it's starting to deal with some ice. This is over in Thompson Station, thanks to Faith. This is like an ice skating rink currently taking place, but not the fun kind because it is just very cumbersome. And here's another one for you, Murfreesboro. This is thanks to Leonard. I mean, Leland, look at that. You can just see the coating of that glaze on top of all the snow and sleet we had yesterday.
Yeah, so continuous situations like that all over the area this morning. Here is a look at what's happening for us right now as we give you a look at our radar. This is radar in motion over the last couple of hours, and we've got several different types of precipitation. The green's the rain. Rain coming down at a heavier clip of the yellow and the orange, maybe a little bit of sleet mixing in with that as well. Then through here with the pink, it's more of the freezing rain. And then as you start to head to the north, you can see a little bit of the snow that is going on. So all of this is continuing. There is a wide range in those temperatures over the area for us right now. So Murray, Kentucky, 16, Hopkinsville, 30, 25 Dixon, 32 Nashville, but then down to our south, these numbers are in the 40s here, Henry. From Fayetteville, McMinnville, Cookeville, Crossville right now is at 39.
So a check of one of our sky cams, you can see the icicles that are hanging from the camera lens right now and a few little droplets that are trying to fall off this high atop the Batman building there at 333 Commerce. And normally it would be a beautiful view of downtown, but it's just not the case this morning. So let's take a look as far as our weather headlines go for today. We are going to be watching for, unfortunately, this wintry mix to continue across the area much of today. Dangerously cold temperatures really kicking in tonight. Some flurries likely as the atmosphere tries to wring out every little bit of moisture it can, and extreme cold for the upcoming week. In fact, our average low is 30. We won't even see highs making it to 30 degrees for parts of the week. We're looking at highs today flirting around 30. The 40s are mainly this morning for Cookeville, Crossville, McMinnville down to Fayetteville. These temperatures will fall. And then take a look at what's happening tonight. Single-digit low temperatures. In fact, the upcoming week, get ready for a reinforcing shot of Arctic air. 31 is the warmest will be for the next 5 days and really the next 7. Teens for highs on Monday and 20s for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're going to have a detailed check of that 7-day forecast coming up in a bit, Jennifer.
Henry, thank you. Our News Channel 5 teams are out on the roads this morning for you, so you don't have to be. Our Tony Sloan is in Storm 5 Titan. And Tony, I think it's important to note NES has issued a warning telling folks that so many trees are falling on lines that they should be aware of falling trees and falling lines. But if you see a falling line or fallen line, you should assume that it is live and dangerous and stay away from it. Have you seen any fallen lines yet? I know you've seen some outages and trees falling. What else are you seeing?
Yes, we haven't seen any lines that have hit the ground, but we have, Jennifer, seen some of those lines that have kind of fallen down a bit. Now, I did want to show you, in addition to that, I mean, we've seen trees that have just fallen down onto vehicles. We've seen them falling onto roads. But just take a look at this here. This tree actually just landed on top of one of these cars here, and it looks like it may have dented the hood of it there. But it looks like this tree actually stretched all the way over there. So we're talking about some strong winds that may have pushed those limbs onto some of these different vehicles here. And I mean, this is just terrible for, people to have to wake up to and maybe see this. But this is the threat that comes along with it. I mean, you're going to see all of these downed trees. And as we drive here, I mean, this is just insane. You can't even get past this stretch of roadway because of all the snapped limbs here. And I mean, we see this threat here when it comes down to the trees, but that's also a concern for those power lines, like you mentioned, Jennifer. I mean, we've seen some of those lines come down, but a lot of them, we haven't seen them hit the ground. We've just seen them kind of fall down a bit there, but it's a huge concern. We've seen so many different power outages. We've seen flashes of light, which would be a power surge, and then we've seen everything just go dark, which is a big problem for a lot of people. Like you said, over 100,000 people impacted by those outages right now. And that number was at about maybe, a few thousand when we first got onto the air. So, I mean, this number could possibly continue to rise, considering the fact that we are dealing with this rain, which is something that a lot of city officials say, you have that freezing rain on top of those lines. It just calls for even more hazardous and dangerous conditions here. But look at the roadways here. I mean, we're just talking about icy conditions. You got to take it slow. You got to make sure you're easing into all of this here. And a lot of this rain that we're seeing, I mean, the threat is that it's going to freeze over after it's done. I mean, we're, like Henry said not too long ago, we're not going to get above freezing for a while. So that's going to make these conditions even worse as we go forward here. But this is what we've been seeing for the most part today. We've seen down trees. We've actually still seen a lot of cars hitting the roadways, which is a big cause for concerns. And that's something city leaders and a lot of state leaders as well are encouraging you not to do. So if you can, please do not get on the roadways. I wanted to show you one more time. This here is our dash cam. A look at what we're seeing. You can see more of the precipitation through this camera here. Cars covered in snow. It's just icy conditions all around here. I know Eric says he's actually seen some of those downed trees. Now, Jennifer asked me, did I see any power lines down? I've seen some of them just kind of falling down but not hitting the ground. Eric, are you seeing any power lines that are on the ground?
We have seen a few, actually. Yeah, on Harding Pike, there were some over near Belle Meade. That was when we drove past, and we're actually still on State Highway 100. We had that down tree a little while ago, but now we're coming across more down trees. This is another one in the roadway. We're actually headed to the intersection of State Highway 100 and Highway 96, and this is what we're encountering right now. You can kind of just see off to the side there that tree falling, and it's got the caution tape from police. I know that crews have been out here. They have a sign that says road work, and so we know that earlier we saw police out near that downed tree, and there were police out here earlier. But something to take note of. They're in the roadway, and now that the sun's coming up, you can see them a little bit better, but when it was darker, you didn't see them until you got too close for comfort, and so you want to give yourself that extra time just in case there's things like this in the roadway, and be careful and look for those down power lines and try to avoid them. But we know that trees are falling left and right, especially here in the Bellevue area, and we haven't seen any houses with power. We haven't seen any lights, any traffic lights, any street lights, any lights on houses. We haven't seen any lights in this area for a while. We've been driving down this stretch since for the past 30 minutes, and it looks like almost all of these have gone without power. So this area has definitely been hit hard, we know. And so we're continuing on to that intersection because we've heard there was another downed tree. So several trees are falling here in this area. So if you live here, you want to be cautious, you want to be careful, and you want to take it slow. If you don't want to be on the road if you don't have to be, but if you do, take it slow and be careful. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio for now.
Thank you so much for that report, Eric. Cole Johnson in for 5 Live Traffic. We're starting off already to a bad start. Here's I-65 in Robertson County. This is on north of Cedar Grove Road. So this is kind of between Portland and Cross Plains. We have a jackknife tractor trailer blocking one of the southbound lanes. It looks like the camera may be frozen here, but just know that this is going to be kind of the story of the day. So much so if that rain starts to freeze. Here's a better look at where that is, a little bit closer to Cross Plains, but just keep an eye on that. But when we are looking at the map in total right now, we're really only seeing one crash up here, kind of by the Whites Creek Pike area, or rather exit by Jolton. This is reported injury crash in the area, but I put some caution signs around the area because this is some debris that's in the roadways. So I've seen a tree kind of just hanging onto a lane, as well as just some other things. But I was driving in from the Donaldson area. I've driven in this before. I have a heavy car. I have 4-wheel drive, and I went very slowly. But right around this area, as you're getting close to Nashville on I-40, there was massive ponding on I-40 that really caught me by surprise. So, and it was pretty deep. So thankfully I was able to get through that. But it was a bit of a shock. But here's a look kind of in the area. This is also going to be the story of the day when we're looking at traffic cameras. A lot of icicles covering the cameras is going to make the job a little bit more difficult today, but we're going to get through it. But you can see that the roads are just saturated with water. This is what's going to make me more nervous for those side roads. The interstates, those paths are still kind of carved out, but when you're in these neighborhoods, that's when things are going to get really difficult because you might not even be able to get that far. But please stay off the roads if you can. Only go if you do have to travel maybe for work and it's something that's necessary. But for now, we're going to send it over to Jennifer.
All right, Cole, thank you. And again, stay at home if you can. We know a lot of folks are losing power very quickly. When we went on the air this morning, just a couple thousand people, customers of NES, it has now jumped to more than 112,000. This is the NES map, and as you can see, it's widespread across Davidson County. I'm looking at Middle Tennessee Electric's map right now. They had just a couple hundred when we started. They're now up to 8,200. NES just sent us a release telling us that they expect that number to go up as the day continues. They tell us they are fully staffed. They've got crews all in the field, already out assessing the damage, starting to make repairs. They say their crews are going to be in continuous rotation until they get everything fixed, working 14 to 16-hour shifts. So I know it could take a while to get your power back on, but have patience. They are out there trying to get everything fixed, but it could take a while. They also, again, remind everyone that, you know, the trees are falling, so the lines are falling. So if you see a downed line, expect or assume that it is live and dangerous, and stay away from it. Just go inside and call and report that outage. All right, we'll be back with more in a minute.
Another 5 Live Traffic hit. I just want to reiterate, we're just seeing this jackknife tractor trailer in Robertson County. So this is going to be spread out across really the area that we're dealing with. I'm going to see if we can get another camera in that area because it still seems like this one is frozen. Not a pun with the winter weather. But we have this in Robertson County north of Cedar Grove Road there. This is right by Cross Plains and White House. So you can see that a lot of the coloring here is most likely due to some of the snow and ice that's on the roadways, not necessarily traffic in the area. Again, I want to showcase this. These different caution signs are a lot of debris. That's the story right now for me, is that is what's a big problem on the interstates. A large problem that's going to be happening for folks today is going to be neighborhoods. Those are going to be much more difficult to get out of. These are major roadways that I'm going to be focused on throughout the day. We're going to tell you about some stuff if you need to know it, if it's in some neighborhoods. But for me, you're going to be hearing about me from Pikes, from the interstate. And for those that do have to drive in a serious case, not if you're just going for fun. But this is just the thing. And I just want to show you one more camera here really quickly, just to show this is what I'm talking about. Just some debris, some trees falling there, blocking off some of the roadway. That's our traffic hit for right now. I'll be back here with more coming up shortly.
Hopefully you got to get outside and enjoy the fun part of the weekend yesterday in the snow. Check out this beautiful video of the Stones River Greenway. This was taken by one of our investigative videographers, Bob Stinnett. Looks pretty out there, but more icy and dangerous weather is headed our way. Of course, we've been talking about the power outages and how the numbers have just continued to grow all morning. It's now up to 120,000 NES customers. And NES has just tweeted, letting folks know, they had wanted people to call and let them know if they have an outage. Now they say their phones are overloaded. So they're asking instead that you go to their website and report the outage through their online system, just so that they want to hear from you, but they just can't handle all the calls right now, guys.
Wow.
Yeah, and I looked at a map, Power Outages Tennessee, showing that right now there are nearly 200,000 people in the state without electricity right now.
That's a lot of homes
Yes.
that, rely on power for so many different reasons. But, thankfully we knew this was going to potentially be an issue. So hopefully you did prepare.
And if you have been preparing, great. If you still have power and you're thinking, hey, I'm in good shape, let's just go on and plug our phones in now.
Yeah,
plug those
exactly.
mobile devices in now and go on and get the flashlights. Just have them nearby. Whether you have it and not need it, then need it and be like, wait, which drawer is it in? Where is it?
Charge those backup devices as well.
Charge.
Exactly, because this is not a one and done type situation. We talk about how this is a prolonged event, even though some of you are getting a little bit of freezing rain in some spots. Others do have a little bit of just solid rain and it's melting, but it's going to refreeze as we go throughout the next bit. Here's a look for you right now over in Portland. This is thanks to some of our sweet friends that giving us this perspective. I mean, look at those trees. You can tell they're starting to be weighed down by all of that freezing rain in place. Another view, Thompson Station, thanks to Faith. That is truly an ice skating rink. Look at the side. Do you see those icicles taking shape? I mean, everything was just so cold at the surface, had been cold. The atmosphere was just ready to take on whatever came our way, and truly it is clinging to over Leonard. I mean, do you see how thick this is? You've got the snow, you have the sleet, and then the ice glaze right on top of it. This is over in Spring Hill, thanks to our sweet friend Kim, and you can tell things just look so stiff because they're frozen solid. Old Hickory, look at this tree. This is thanks to Patricia. That tree's really starting to have a lot of weight with it. We're getting numerous people. A friend just actually sent an email over in Donaldson saying they could hear tree limbs snapping and even some trees falling in their area. This is thanks to Steve over in Sweet Summertown, one of my favorite little spots. But look at this. Continuing to have freezing rain for them. Just spoke with them a few minutes ago. So it's adding on to these icicles, and this is just going to be a very cumbersome day ahead. Hendersonville, this is thanks to Ivy. I mean, you can tell, Leland, that we are dealing with a very slick situation as far as today is concerned. And even with a little melting for some, definitely not all, it's still going to be an issue throughout the next few days.
It really is. So something that we'll watch. We need for you all to be careful. We're doing our best to guide you through this morning. What we do here with the Storm 5 weather team and News Channel 5. This is the view out of Clarksville right now. And again, a lot of car windows look like this. If they were parked outside last night, the freezing rain on that camera gives it that view, that look this morning. So here's radar. Down north south, this is a cold rain. Where you've got the orange and the red, there might be a little sleet that might mix in with that. The pink here is some of the freezing rain, and then a little bit more snow to the north. Look at the widespread in those temperatures here. 33 Nashville, 45 Fayetteville, Murray, Kentucky is at 14 for us right now. So there's that cold rain out of Bedford County, Moore County. This is why these counties here were actually under. All right, so I think we've got a video, the live video that we can take a look right now. If we've got to go ahead and pull it up, and we'll get back to radar here in a second. But this is a look at what's happening now in Nashville. This is, again, where they say Henry Highway 100.
Highway 100 NES crew that is out there trying to, Tennessee Highway. Yep, so Highway 100 right there around Harding Pike. NES trying to remove a downed tree right there. And I think we're going to start seeing a lot more of those images, too, unfortunately, Leland.
Yes, and here's the deal on that one. See where the tree is at coming around the corner. If for some reason you get out, take it very easily because you might come around the corner and not realize that a tree is down.
Can I point one thing out on
yes,
that,
definitely.
Too? Notice how that the lineman is walking right there, and normally if that were snow, you'd see the snow, kind of his feet going into it.
Yeah.
That's all ice that he's walking on. I mean, I went right up to the monitor to look, and he's being careful. But that's an example of just how much ice is out there right now.
Yeah, so definitely. So that's the situation for us right now. So from Henry, from here, we'll go over to you.
Okay.
And you've been looking also at a picture out of the Donaldson area as well.
Yeah, because I think this is a great example. And if we're able to take this full real quick, please do so, because this is a power line right here with icicles hanging from it. You can see some tree branches that are down as well. This is what we're talking about with these power lines getting weighed down, these tree branches that are going to get weighed down. Just the perfect example. We know that our senior chief photojournalist, Mike Rose, he lost power at his home out in Donaldson. And unfortunately, probably more power outages will continue to come in. All right, let's take a look now at what we're dealing with. Why are we getting now freezing rain? It's that warm nose, the warmer air aloft, melting those snowflakes. Coming down is freezing rain and sleet. And unfortunately, as we go through the rest of today, that pattern continues. Although we'll get some snow to mix in, I think, on the tail end of this late in the day, but it's going to be incredibly cold out there. In fact, looking at the 7-day, we are going to continue with the Storm 5 alert. And that has to do with the fact of the extreme cold that continues tomorrow, and then it's really self-explanatory through the upcoming week with those temperatures, guys. Well below average, both highs and lows, and we're being kind of conservative there at the end of the week, because some models are trying to say it'll be even colder than what we've got right now. I'm not ready to bite on that just yet. Neither were y'all, but we may be lower in those numbers.
Do you want to say anything about that 20% on Wednesday? I'll let you do it. That could be.
That's your day.
Oh, Leland, we could have a few more flakes flying, but it's not going to be anything compared to what we're dealing with right now.
We'll get you through the day and then tell you about that down the line.
Hey, tomorrow we'll worry about it still.
Yes.
It's fine. It's fine.
More to come right after this.
Welcome back. Glad you are with us on this Sunday morning as we are devoting most of our coverage to what is going on here in Middle Tennessee, as well as the rest, much of the country, is the snow and now ice that is affecting our area. We've got Jill Bergen with the Williamson County EMA Emergency Management Agency on the phone. Good morning, Jill.
Good morning, Jennifer.
I understand, and I am assuming that things are quite busy. You all are activated. Tell us about what you are seeing and experiencing and how you all are addressing this.
Yes, it has really gotten a lot busier since 5 a.m. We started receiving several calls of transformers blowing, arcing, lots of outages and some trees down. So we are experiencing a high call volume in our 911 dispatch center. We're asking folks not to call 911 to report a power outage. We have the utility company reporting numbers on our social media accounts, WCTN-EMA. That is the best way to report a power outage. If you have a serious injury or life-threatening emergency, you can call 911 and folks will get to you as soon as possible.
I know you're advising and asking people to stay at home and stay off the roads. Can you tell us about some of the areas, especially for folks who live in Williamson County and they're staying at home? Tell everyone what areas seem to be seeing the most problems at this point.
Sure. We have had a lot of issues in the Grassland area, over that northeast area around Hillsborough Road. Fairview is having a lot of issues. And then, of course, roads across the county are super slick. Many of our staff stayed at the Public Safety Center overnight, but some traveled in this morning and are reporting very slick conditions and lots of trees just hanging low over the road, and it's just not safe to be out there right now. This is what everybody's been warning about all week. This is really the time to hunker down.
Great. And your plan for addressing this going ahead in the days ahead? You all will be there, staying there around the clock, I guess?
Yes, we've been activated. We'll be here for the duration and just trying to help coordinate resources, see where the big issues are, and help get the people and materials where they're needed.
All right. We know you'll stay on top of this. And please let us know if you've got any new developments or anything else going on there in Williamson County. Be safe there, Jill, and to everyone in Williamson County.
Thanks, you too.
All right, we'll be back with more in a minute.
Now, with a Storm 5 alert, this is News Channel 5 this morning.
All right, we've got rain, freezing rain that is continuing to fall, and we are joined by the best weather team in Middle Tennessee, Leland, Henry, Nikki D. They've been here all morning long. You were here all day yesterday. As is this weather, we've got this rain falling this morning, and no sign of it ending anytime immediately.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a scenario that as more of this falls today, and I was just saying in the commercial break, I'm really concerned about the power outages tonight and tomorrow, because all the water that's falling right now, when these temperatures start to plummet, flash freeze conditions, more branches, more power lines coming down, I think, tonight. So I think tomorrow morning will be a real big problem.
Yeah, so
too.
again, temperatures for many of you will be in the single digits or low teens tonight.
And feeling as if some of you are below zero, and it's not just tonight, but in the days to follow. We're getting so many images in. Thank y'all so much. You are truly our eyes and ears of what is going on outside of your house and doing it safely and not moving about. This is over in Camden. This is thanks to Geneva, and you can see that tree leaning just a little bit because the ice is so heavy. Brett was saying over in Donaldson they can hear snapping and falling trees outside. And then Megan Hooper, who's over in the Portland, Gallatin area, she hears trees falling in the woods as we speak. So very active situation. This is over in Green Hills. Look how that tree just snapped. Yo, that took some weight to actually do something like that. Huge, I know, right? Huge limbs falling in this area, and of course, close to those power lines as well. This is thanks to Rachel. Goodness gracious. And then look how thick this is. This is over the ridge between Portland and Gallatin. This is thanks to Megan. This is also was telling me that she hears the limbs and trees falling across their property, but notice how thick that ice is. And this is just a good example of what is going on with the trees, but they're so high up, it's kind of hard to see for some, but she was able to catch that image for us. And it's not just what's developing on the limbs itself, but look how we end up having icicles on top of that. And that's what's weighing things down. Remember, it only takes around 1/4 of an inch for trees to start to break, and at 1/2 inch mark, that's when things really get crazy outside. This is over in Timothy, Tennessee. This is thanks to Carl Lee. And I mean, it's pretty to look at, but seeing all that ice, we know it is very slick. And speaking of slick, this is over in Summertown. Looks like an ice skating rink. Steve and Wendy Peterson, thank you for sending this into us. And we're getting a lot of tree damage out there right now, Leland, as well as tons of power outages. Yeah,
so a lot of power outages, and unfortunately that number may go up a little bit more before it starts to even out. So be careful out there this morning. So right now, temperatures upper 20s to low 30s for most of us. It is in the 40s as you get southeast. Tonight we drop to 9. Tomorrow 17. So with a temp of 9 tonight and 17 tomorrow, we'll continue that Storm 5 alert, and then still below freezing on Sunday. So here's our viewpoint from the Franklin area. You just heard our Williamson County EMA. 32 degrees, but again, that camera looks like that because it's freezing rain. Ice is frozen over on it. So there's radar for us at the hour. We've got this wide range of temperatures across the Mid-South for us now. 14 Hopkinsville, actually 14 Murray. Hopkinsville was 30, but now has dropped, Henry, to 23. Bowling Green 34, McMinnville 36, Fayetteville 45, Nashville 33. But Henry, we're on that line, and it still means we're getting some freezing rain in the metro area.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we're getting more reports of power outages. Nikki D just handed me a note. NES now over 151,000 outages reported. And as this continues, this setup for much of today, it's just going to continue to increase. Notice that wintry chance continuing into the afternoon. And then as we finally get that to push out, we will see some flurries continuing this evening. So quick check of your forecast today. We're staying in the 30s for most, and then down into the 20s this evening, but even colder for the upcoming week. Jennifer, we're going to look at that in the full forecast in a bit.
Guys, thank you so much. All right, we want to turn to the phone line, and we've got Alex Pelham from TEMA on the line. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning.
So we know that this is affecting not just Nashville, Davidson County, or even Middle Tennessee. This is a statewide event. Can you kind of bring us up to speed on where things stand across Tennessee?
Yes, ma'am. So as we unfortunately predicted, this has been an ice storm after a snowstorm. So our areas, especially the Davidson, Sumner, and in that general vicinity, are starting to see a lot of power outages, but that power outages are due to the ice that we're starting to see accumulate. One of the things that is important in this is, there were a lot of people yesterday after it started snowing saying, oh, okay, it's over now. And I would just caution folks that are now thinking the same thing as they wake up, because working with our partners at National Weather Service, there's roughly 6 more hours of precipitation that could add on to what we have. We're already starting to see, as you mentioned, high levels of power outages. As I got on to do this with you guys, we were at roughly 225,000 power outages across the state, and I believe that puts us just above Texas in the most power outages at the moment. So roughly 7% of Tennesseans are without power at the moment as a result of this storm.
Wow. And we know crews are out there working as hard as they can, but, that our meteorologists were telling us that number is only expected to go up. What advice do you have for folks? And can you tell us, is there a statewide plan to help address this and help the folks out there who could be without power for hopefully not too long, but for perhaps days?
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple of things, I'll reiterate a couple of points that we've made over the last couple of days and then add a couple. Staying off the roads right now becomes even more important. So we reported before talking about saving your first responders, saving yourself, the potential for injury. But as our TVA and local power services have folks out there working to restore services, these line workers have been working around the clock. You staying off the road allows them to travel safely and allows them, it reduces the potential harm to those folks that are trying to get this power problem working again. Typically these power, with the exception of the large swaths, the power outages have been coming on relatively quickly. We have had multiple accidents involving TDOT where their folks were doing things, and because of motorists were out on the hazardous road conditions, truck was hit. Thankfully, all our TDOT employees are good, but the biggest would be that staying off the roads, being careful, and if you are without power and you're using generators, to really heed the safety precautions of generators, of not running them indoors, running them away from your confined spaces, as well as if you are thinking about plugging it into your house, don't. That will push power back and have a negative result for you. The other piece is if you are going to warm yourself up in your car, which I know if I didn't have power, that would be one of the first things I thought of, especially if I had young children or the elderly in my home. If you're doing that in your garage, remember to open that garage door so that you're not dealing with carbon monoxide, and we have an unfortunate incident during this event.
All right. Alex, we so appreciate all of that advice and information from TEMA. Please let us know as you get more information, and we will definitely want to pass that along to all of our viewers this morning. Thanks for joining us this morning. We're going to go to Eric Pointer, who is out on Highway 100. Before we do, we just got word from WeGo. WeGo has now, because obviously of the icy road conditions out there, for the safety of everyone, decided to suspend all of their bus service for the time being. So again, all WeGo bus service is suspended. That just into our newsroom. All right, Eric, you're out on Highway 100, out near Old Harding Pike on the west side of Davidson County. You've been out with the looking at the road conditions, but I know you've also seen some down lines. Tell us more about what you're seeing and also what you're experiencing, because how was it getting from the car to where you are?
Yeah, you can hear the trees cracking and falling right now. There are lots of down trees, especially this one that's blocking the roadway. This road is closed right now as there are 2 linemen, NES linemen, actively working to try to remove that tree from the road. They tied a rope to it and they tried to just drive their car or their truck to pull it out, and their truck got stuck and it wasn't pulling, so they're out actively trying to work. And so we've seen a lot of this. We've seen a lot of down trees, and just standing here we can hear this one fell while we were here, and you can just see how thick this ice is right here, and just like hear that snap, that crunch. It's weighing it down, and just as we're standing here, just when you came to me, another one right back there fell. So these trees are one right there, right behind you, just fell. So lots of trees getting weighed down by, again, just this thick coating of ice that's freezing on these trees and causing them to snap, blocking the roadways and things like that. So that's what we're looking at here on the west side, and we're going to continue to monitor this and to bring you these current conditions, but I'll send it back to you guys in the studio for now.
All right, Eric, thank you. Be careful. Watch out for those trees. Stay away from them. All right, we'll be back with another look at your forecast right after the break.
Right now, 7:48 here on a Sunday morning. Thank you as we do continuing coverage. We'll continue it through the morning. The football game will air.
Don't worry.
AFC
on the main channel.
Yeah,
will air here on News Channel 5. But right now, keeping you up to date, especially because it's been a very rapidly changing situation this morning.
I mean, since 5 o'clock, we've had now numerous power outages. What is it up to now? 151,000 people?
Over 151,000. And we started it
Under a couple of thousand.
Yeah.
And that's just at NES. That's not the other areas. And we know some of you are probably watching us online because you are without power. And this is not a one-and-done situation. We're going to continue to have brutally cold temperatures to follow.
Yeah, and I'm really worried about tonight, too, because while the rain is still falling, and maybe you've made it through the day without power, once these temperatures start to plummet tonight, you're going to get flash freezing conditions. And I do anticipate a big, unfortunate jump in the number of power outages and down trees.
And you've got a great explainer on the power of ice and the weight of ice.
I mean, ice is so truly powerful and heavy. I mean, it doesn't take a lot to make things cumbersome. So about a half an inch of ice is equivalent to around 281 pounds every 300 feet. Then we've got 1 inch of ice, that's equivalent to 749 pounds every 300 feet. And then you get to 2 inches of ice, that's 2,248 pounds every 300 feet. And so you're going, okay, I don't really understand what that means. Basically, if you get a 1/4 of an inch of ice, that's when tree limbs start to fall. Once you get a 1/2 an inch of ice, that's when numerous tree limbs are falling. We're talking big, bulky trees, as well as a lot of power outages. And we're up to that 1/2 an inch, and some of us are on the way even higher totals than that. Here's some pictures that we're getting in just to kind of show you and to help paint the picture. This is thanks to my friend Megan Lowe. She's over in the Gallatin area. Good morning to you. And you can see that tree just bending its way over. And that's a thick trunk that we're working with right here. Right now, she does have power. Then we head our way over to Green Hills. This is just crazy to look at. This is a very mature tree. And it didn't just leave a few branches. Look how it just truly, you can see the bark in the middle of this. This is over Rachel Sutton. It's so close to some power outages, too. And we're heading to Madison, Tennessee. This is thanks to David Rivers. He's one of our amazing photojournalists out live this morning for you. Notice down trees on both sides of the yard, and even in the back, you can hear them snapping all across the board. And see how thick this ice is getting. So remember that pounds we were just talking about. That's what weighs it down and causes things to really start to snap. And it's not just what's accumulating on the tree limbs, but also on the ground in Leland. That's making things very slick, and that's why we're having major issues when it comes to fixing some power outages, because it's dangerous.
And the ironic and the sad part, something so pretty can be so damaging that we're dealing with over the area this morning. Here's our camera in North Nashville, First Horizon Park. Snow in the field there, 33, but they were down to 24 a little earlier this morning. Here in the Nashville area, those temperatures are right at the freezing mark. Here's, again, an explainer on the weight of just the ice and the thickness of the ice. So a 1/4 of an inch is hazardous. Disruptive there between a 1/4 of an inch and a 1/2 of an inch, and then just downright crippling, which we're seeing in quite a few areas right now with over a 1/2 an inch of ice. Highs today remain kind of steady, and then for tonight, look at this. These numbers are going to be cold. These are actually the daytime highs tomorrow. The high for Nashville tomorrow, 17, 13 in Bowling Green. So there's radar. We continue with all of this rain over the area, and Henry will talk in a moment, but this is going to continue for several hours, and so that just creates more problems out there, especially in these areas where the temperature is right at or below the freezing mark. 23 Jackson, Murray 14, 23 Hopkinsville. But again, Henry, a much different world as you get into those southeastern counties.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is an incredible setup, and I want to show you right now, basically from the northeast all the way back towards New Mexico. Winter weather alerts in effect. So over 50% of the country under some type of a winter weather advisory. And even today, the Florida Panhandle, parts of Georgia, Alabama, this same system could bring some severe weather. to parts of the country down there. So this is bringing all 4 seasons, it appears, in just about a 24 to 48 hour window. Looking at home, yes, it is a cold start, as we've been talking about. Wind chill values feeling like 1 below in Murray, Kentucky. But by this afternoon, it's going to feel like it's in the single digits, even feeling like it's below 0 in some spots heading into the overnight. Plenty of moisture out there, but I'll tell you what, as we look at that 7-day forecast, we will see that tapering off tonight, but the Storm 5 alert continuing for the dangerously cold conditions tomorrow. And Leland, Nikki D, I'm trying to be conservative here. These numbers towards the end of the week, they may end up coming down because models are trying to hint at even colder conditions, but just trying to keep those temperatures at least above the 0 degree mark for now.
Still a lot to watch all week.
Oh, hands down. And even if we get any moisture in here, which we're anticipating some Wednesday and Friday, Saturday, that would be in the frozen type precipitation. Good news is it's not going to have as much moisture as what we're dealing with right now.
Yeah, so that is certainly good news, but more concerns for ice as we head into tonight as well. We'll be back right after this with much more. Wintry precip continuing today, but dangerously cold temperatures after that. That's why the Storm 5 alert continues for tomorrow. And realistically, guys, it's going to be the case throughout the week, but it's self-explanatory. Dangerously cold. Got to make sure we're taking care of ourselves.
And you know what else is continuing? Our coverage here at News Channel 5. Carrie Sharp is joining us now, Cole Johnson. So we'll have more traffic and more weather with our team of meteorologists. So stay with us.
And stay home.
Stay home.
Yes.
Please.
For 50 years, Maples Realty and Auction has helped Tennessee grow one sale at a time.
We help people buy and sell the trusted way through auctions that deliver